When we talk about abundance, most people imagine a flow of money, a successful career, or material opportunities that suddenly appear as if by magic. But in the Buddhist understanding, abundance begins within a person, with how one feels the world, how one perceives each morning, every meeting, every step of one's life. This approach is not connected to magical thinking. It is based on a deep understanding of the nature of the mind and the energy of attention. When a person stops clinging to fears, doubts, and inner conflicts, they begin to sense around them a space of possibilities that has always been nearby, but was hidden behind a dense veil of tension. Abundance does not come from outside. It unfolds from within, like a natural flow that has long been waiting for a person to allow it to manifest. And when this flow becomes tangible, we suddenly notice that circumstances, people, and events become more favorable because we ourselves begin to vibrate at a different frequency, one of calm, clarity, and trust in the world. It is precisely in this state that an invisible bridge is formed between what a person desires and what they are able to receive. Before we begin, please like the video and subscribe to the channel where you can find useful insights that can help you achieve the best version of you. Leave in the comments, "I am a magnet for abundance," to claim what it belongs to you. Abundance in the Buddhist understanding is connected with a state of inner fullness. It is not joy from a random gift of fate, but a deep sense of sufficiency that does not depend on external factors. When a person stops comparing themselves to others, stops adjusting their life to society's standards, and stops seeking confirmation of their worth in the eyes of others, they begin to reclaim the energy they have been giving away for years. It is this returned energy that becomes the inner soil on which new opportunities begin to grow. In Buddhist monasteries, it is often repeated that abundance comes to one whose heart is calm, because a calm heart does not waste energy fighting the world. If a person constantly lives in tension, it is as if they are holding a closed cup in their hands. How much water can enter it? But when they open their palms, relax their thoughts, and stop demanding immediate results from the world, they allow the river of life to fill them naturally. This approach seems simple, but for many it becomes a real challenge, because it requires trust. And trust in the modern world is often perceived as weakness, although in spiritual practice it is a manifestation of inner strength. Only one who feels solid ground beneath their feet is capable of trusting, and it is precisely this stability that opens doors to new opportunities. Every person encounters a stream of thoughts daily that influences their perception. If these thoughts are filled with anxiety, doubt, or a sense of lack, a person's energy contracts and stops perceiving the chances that life offers. Buddhist teachers say that the human mind is like a mirror. If it is covered in dust, it does not reflect the world as it truly is. But once it is cleaned, the surrounding space begins to shine with vivid colors. To clean the mind means learning to notice which thoughts create tension and gently letting them go, allowing oneself to return to a state of presence. In the practice of attracting abundance, the ability to live in the present moment plays an important role. In a state of presence, a person stops mentally running into the future or returning to the past, stops analyzing every detail, and painfully searching for the perfect solution. They begin to trust what is happening right now. This state resembles even breathing, calm, smooth, natural. When a person learns to be present, their energy stops being wasted on chaotic experiences, and the freed strength is directed toward creating what truly matters. Then abundance begins to manifest in the form of opportunities, meetings, ideas, and inspiration. One of the main Buddhist principles is this: what attention is directed toward grows. If a person constantly focuses on lack, they amplify it in their life. But if they focus attention on gratitude and already available resources, they begin to notice how these resources expand. This is not a philosophical metaphor, but a real inner state that changes the perception of the world. Gratitude gently melts tension and creates a sense of sufficiency within, and sufficiency attracts opportunities like a magnet attracts metal. To attract abundance, it is important to learn to let go of attachment to results. Buddhist monks say that excessive desire creates an inner knot that prevents energy from flowing freely. Desire itself is not bad, but when a person turns it into a need, they begin to contract. For example, if someone desperately wants money, they begin to fear not having it, and this fear becomes a powerful block. but if they allow themselves to want without clinging, they preserve inner freedom and energy begins to flow more easily. When a person starts working with their inner state, they gradually realize that abundance is neither an accident nor the result of a single effort. It is a process that requires gentle but constant attention to oneself, to one's thoughts and habits. Buddhist teachers say that it is impossible to attract into one's life what has no space inside. If the heart is occupied by anxiety, the mind is filled with doubt, and daily life is packed with chaotic actions, there is simply nowhere to hold what one wishes to receive. Therefore, the path to abundance begins with creating inner space. This space does not appear instantly, it is born from consistent steps, each of which returns a portion of one's own energy. First of all, one should learn to observe how thoughts arise. Most people live on autopilot, reacting to every thought as if it were an absolute truth. But in the Buddhist approach, a thought is simply a movement of the mind, nothing more. It comes, lingers, and leaves if a person does not grasp it. A master teaches the student to look at a thought like a cloud in the sky. It passes by but does not define the nature of the sky itself. When a person stops identifying with every thought, they begin to feel freedom, and freedom is precisely the state in which abundance appears, because energy is no longer bound by knots of others' expectations and inner fears. The second important practice is the ability to consciously direct attention. When a person chooses to focus on possibilities rather than limitations, the mind stops being an enemy and becomes an ally. This does not mean ignoring difficulties, it means not allowing them to control the inner state. Buddhist masters say that attention is a beam of light. Whatever it is directed at comes alive. If the light is aimed at lack, lack expands. If it is aimed at the path becomes brighter and clearer. Shifting focus is a key step toward inner abundance. The practice of gratitude also occupies an important place in the Buddhist approach to well-being. Gratitude is not a formal habit or a forced list of things one is supposedly obliged to be thankful for. Gratitude is a deep inner feeling that life is already full. When a person begins to notice bright moments even in small details, their perception softens. People often say that after practicing gratitude, the world around them feels warmer. This is not an exaggeration. The inner state simply changes the way one interacts with reality. And when a person feels that they already live in sufficiency, new forms of abundance begin to appear naturally in their life. As one deepens the practice of inner abundance, they notice the importance of feeling their true desires. Buddhist teachers explain that there are two kinds of desires. The first come from the ego and are born of fear or the need to prove one's significance. They create tension and disappointment because they do not reflect one's true nature. The second are desires of the heart, arising from the need to fulfill one's purpose, to share oneself, and to live in harmony. By distinguishing between them, a person directs attention toward their true path, and such desires become a magnet for abundance. True desire can be understood through the practice of silence. The inner space is filled with many voices, past experiences, imposed beliefs, fears. Among them is a quiet, clear voice that indicates direction. It can only be heard by slowing down the inner rhythm. When a person stops rushing inside, they begin to discern signals that were previously hidden, and the inner voice becomes a guide on their path. The ability to trust one's actions plays a major role. Many people doubt every step, searching for the perfect moment, but confidence is born not from the absence of doubt, but from the courage to move forward. By taking a step with trust, a person signals to life that they are ready and the universe opens new opportunities. This interaction resembles a dance. One step is taken by the person, the next by life. Abundance unfolds through openness. Many people are closed. They do not accept compliments, fear asking for help, and are ashamed of making mistakes. A closed state creates an invisible wall through which opportunities cannot pass. Openness is not vulnerability, but the ability to receive. Those who can receive can also give. Abundance appears where there is movement, receiving, giving, gratitude, and action. An important practice is releasing the fear of lack. Fear keeps a person confined, forces them to hold on to the old and accept unfavorable conditions. Liberation begins with small steps, clearing physical space, bringing order to thoughts, and allowing oneself to let go of what is unnecessary. These actions create an inner sense of freedom. Buddhist practice emphasizes the importance of intention. Intention is an inner vector of energy. A pure, calm, sincere intention becomes attractive. If it is filled with anxiety and expectations of immediate results, it loses its power. It is important to form intention from a state of inner balance so that it leads to what truly matters. Joy for others is another element of attracting abundance. Envy contracts the heart and blocks the flow. Sincere joy opens the heart, creates vibrations of abundance, and shows the universe that a person is ready to be part of an expanding flow. Awareness of one's own worth is also essential. People want abundance, yet inside consider themselves unworthy. The Buddhist tradition teaches that a person's value does not depend on achievements or opinions. A sense of self-worth forms the foundation for sustainable abundance. Creating inner space through mindfulness practice is the next step. A few minutes of silence, deep breathing, and observing inner processes each day create a place where clarity grows. Clarity helps one understand where to direct effort and which actions are beneficial. Mindfulness attracts abundance. Inner abundance is not a final goal, but a side effect of harmony. A person living in balance, calm, and gratitude sees that opportunities come naturally. Abundance manifests as a result of inner readiness, not as an attempt to control or hold on to life. The final part of the path to abundance in the Buddhist understanding lies in integrating all practices into everyday life. Mindfulness, gratitude, inner calm, the ability to let go, and trust become not separate exercises but a natural way of living. A person begins to notice that their energy no longer scatters on useless worries and attention concentrates on what truly matters. Every action fills with meaning. Every word becomes a tool of creation. In this state, life itself guides a person toward opportunities that resonate with their inner state. One of the key principles is regular practice of presence. Buddhist mentors emphasize that it is impossible to attract abundance if the mind constantly wanders in the past or the future. Presence in the now allows one to recognize chances, see paths, and make the right choices. This state resembles a clear morning sky after rain. Light penetrates everywhere, and all obstacles become visible but no longer frightening. When a person practices presence, even simple events gain special value, and together they form the richness of life. Another important aspect is harmonious interaction with others. Abundance comes to those who know how to share, not only materially but through attention, kind words, help, and support. Buddhist wisdom teaches that energy invested in good returns. The more positive vibrations a person creates, the stronger their inner flow of abundance becomes. This resembles a chain. Each act of kindness strengthens the next, creating a continuous connection between inner state and outer reality. Freedom from fear and attachment to results is also a foundation. A person who releases control and allows events to unfold naturally creates inner lightness. This does not mean passivity. On the contrary, actions become more precise, harmonious, and effective because they arise from clear intention, not from fear or pressure. In this state, energy flows freely, and opportunities that once seemed unreachable begin to manifest. Abundance comes to those who trust life and open their hands. The practice of gratitude completes the formation of inner wealth. Gratitude for what already exists creates a sense of fullness and sufficiency. This feeling expands perception and strengthens the attraction of new blessings. Buddhist teachers claim that gratitude is a magnet that draws even more opportunities. By dedicating a few minutes each day to conscious gratitude, a person strengthens their inner flow of abundance. This state does not depend on external circumstances and becomes a source of energy for all subsequent actions. Another important practice is joy for others. Sincere happiness for others' success and well-being creates a powerful field of positive energy. It dissolves inner barriers and opens the heart to new possibilities. A person who can rejoice in others' good fortune harmonizes their own life, and the universe responds in kind. Abundance appears in all aspects: relationships, creativity, financial flow, joy, and inspiration. This effect does not come instantly, but consistent practice brings deep and lasting results. In conclusion, it is important to emphasize that the path to abundance is the path to oneself. It is not a race for wealth or external signs of success. It is a deep inner journey that opens the heart, cleanses the mind, and fills one with energy and harmony. When a person unites mindfulness, presence, trust, gratitude, joy for others, and the ability to let go, they naturally attract everything that corresponds to their inner state. Abundance becomes not a goal, but a natural consequence of inner growth and harmony. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel, like it, leave a comment, press the bell, and be sure to watch other helpful videos on our channel. Thank you for watching, and may the path to inner abundance become a source of joy, strength, and harmony for you. See you in the next video.